go ahead and talk normally?
Let's do this.
Here's the thing.
First off, I'm going to say, you two disgusting.
Here's the thing, Joe.
Alright guys, welcome back. Episode 2 here on the Never Back Down podcast, where I will never back down to anyone ever sitting in these seats over here. Go ahead, and we got my sister here, Heidi, and my brother-in-law, Jake. Feel free to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell the people a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into it.
Thanks, and start.
So my name is Heidi, as you said, and I have a bachelor's degree in sports and health sciences, and I was certified for a while as a health coach. So I really enjoy like a lot of healthy eating and exercise, just healthy lifestyle. So that's kind of what I'm into. I've also been a part of his blog. I've been doing some blogging on different topics on health and nutrition, as well as some different recipes.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to add into is like, so I've started up JB Fitness, my website. Go check it out, www.josiahbrandon.com. And she writes a lot of blogs out there, really good quality articles on nutritional aspects and just healthy living in general. So she's a part of the JB Fitness team, which is a huge benefit. I really appreciate all the hard work you've been doing.
Yeah, I appreciate being part of it and enjoying it.
All right, Jake.
All right. My name's Heidi Pearson, and married to Heidi for 3 years now. Awesome being a part of this family. That introduction was a little intimidating, but we're gonna have a good talk about nutrition, fitness. Me and Josiah had grown up playing basketball together, weightlifting, so it's been a part of us for a while now. And as we've gotten older, we've kind of focused in more on the nutrition aspect of it. And we've seen how important that is for making progress. So we're gonna get into some good stuff.
Yeah, so that was definitely pretty cool. Back in high school, we played basketball together. Really a blast. And actually, because of Jake, I remember I started getting into weightlifting in high school because you were going in and hitting some weights. And so I'd go in and you started showing me like some basic things like squats, barbell squats, and like walking lunges or one-legged dumbbell things. So back in high school, we worked out some together. He taught me some stuff back then, and kind of fell away from weights for a while, but getting back into it again, which is awesome. And
the student has become the teacher.
But these two have both had a lot of kind of unique experiences in their life when it comes to health aspects. Mm-hmm. And because of that, it's gotten you guys into like healthy eating, I would say. Mm-hmm. So one of my questions is like, how did you get into healthy eating and like nutrition?
I say it's something I've always been interested in. In college, the class that I really loved my freshman year of college was my nutrition class, and that's kind of what spurred me on to decide to pursue like health and nutrition, exercise science. So I've always loved working out. I've always loved eating healthy. And then sophomore year of college, freshman and sophomore year, I started having some health issues and a lot of like inflammation and pain. And so that also led me to like really like start to clean up my diet as far as like I found, cutting out gluten, dairy. I had to get like really strict for a while with some things I was dealing with. And then I kind of, after that period of time, I kind of went back to eating just kind of like pretty normal. But then here recently, I've still been dealing with some different health things, and I found that eating just like really clean. Okay. It just helps me to feel better, like just overall, but also I think it's really important like for people who are dealing with systemic inflammation or like, I deal with
what exactly is systemic?
So like kind of like full body, like I deal with a lot
like pain, inflammation in joints and stuff?
Yeah, so I deal with a lot of like tendonitis and just some things like that, and I find I just prefer to stay away from like gluten and like just regular dairy products that you get from the store, and a lot of like just regular sugar, just because I feel like that can help with what I'm dealing with, as well as I just find that it's healthier for me, and I really enjoy eating whole foods. I feel a lot better when I eat that way. My whole body just functions better, and so that's kind of, I'd say just health issues is kind of what really got me into it. Aspect. Yeah.
Okay. And since, go ahead and based on that, since we're talking about it, so based on that, so like the health aspect, do you feel like since you've been eating I guess, more clean or healthy? Have you noticed less like joint pain, things like that?
So I do have less joint pain. I'm not sure necessarily, like, because kind of off and on, I feel like I've had gluten out of my diet for a long time for the most part, and I don't know like whether that's what's cleared it up or if I've just, you know, slowly over time my body's just kind of getting better, but I'm sure eating healthy doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I can't say for sure because like I said, for quite a few years now I have, for the most part, been eating pretty
good.
Healthy. So.
And what about for you, Jake?
For me, kind of the same story. I've had different health problems that have prompted me to really look into what I'm eating, and you know, it seems like that's kind of the story for a lot of people now. I think more and more people are having issues with foods that never used to be the problem, and you know, it forced me to start researching what I'm eating, and because before I never even thought about it. It was just like, you know, eat whatever. I didn't know what was healthy or bad for you except for like the very generic information, like don't eat sugar. You know, I still did obviously, but that was like so I knew like a very general guideline of health. But just having my health decline and having a lot of digestive disorders and stuff like that, it really forced me to dig in, research, and I've been to doctors and gastroenterologists, and you know, they've done tests and just haven't really been able to give me a lot of answers, and I'm sure that's where a lot of people are at. So just, you know, I've had to really kind of do a lot of that work on my own, just researching and figuring out how I can improve my situation through diet, and I have seen big differences in that. So.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of people are in America today. Is more and more you're seeing people starting to go to the healthy route, just because there are a lot of people are struggling with a lot of like stomach issues, joint pain, cardiac arrest. I don't know whatever else can be caused by some of the things that we eat as Americans that are probably not so good for us. Like me personally, I'm not really a big health guy. I love working out. I love, you know, lifting heavy weights, but you know, I have pizza 2 times a week usually, or burgers and fries, or whatever else, you know, people consider not always the best. You know, I stay away from a lot of like desserts and sugars most of the time. A lot of times I'm eating, you know, I do eat healthy as well, like chicken and rice and things like that. So for the people watching, I would say the average person is probably not a big, maybe health nut. Kind of explain to our viewers what you mean by healthy eating, because I think a lot of people, when they think healthy eating, this is what they're going to think of: chicken and rice every day. You got to eat your salad, and you got to have some fruit, and you got to avoid all sugars. And like salt's terrible for you, or you know, that's like I think the basic American's view of like health. What would you guys define healthy eating? What type of foods do you guys consider healthy? And like I know you guys eat, I guess, have a lot of like organic type foods. And can you explain like the thought process behind that?
Yeah.
I can start on that one. So after doing, you know, tons of research over the years, just trying to improve my own health, something that I've kind of realized is, you know, there's a lot of people that'll say like these foods are on the eat list and these are on the don't. And I feel like a lot of those foods, it really depends on the quality of the food as to which category you put it in. Obviously we know refined stuff is usually bad for you, but when it comes to pretty much everything else, you know, when it comes to meats, vegetables, fruits, fats, whatever it is, and that's why you had said we were choosing organic, because as you start looking into just some of the ways that this food is mass produced, and it has a lot of antibiotics and pesticides, and you know, we're very blessed to live in a country where food is very cheap, so I'm not going to, you know, like I definitely appreciate that part of it, but I think it's also just those things over time just kind of put a toxic load on the body and end up kind of breaking it down. So that's kind of my stance is I don't get too crazy with it. It's more just the quality.
But you said refined. Oh, what do you mean by refined exactly?
So refined, what I mean by that is just how much they process it. So I heard you say something about pink salt. So that's a good example right there. So you have regular refined salt, and then you have something natural like a sea salt or a pink salt.
So like your refined salt would just be your regular white table salt?
Yeah, that's the white table salt. It's very, very cheap. But I've read different things that it's heated to crazy high temperatures. It's bleached to give it that white color. And then usually salts also have additives to help it to not cake, so that it actually pours out smooth.
That's crazy.
And it actually, most of them even have a form of like a simple sugar in them. So you wouldn't even think salt should have. So it's just like little things like that. Where
the bleach aspect, that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like they're bleaching your salt to make it white, but then that's going in your body.
Yeah, and that's just for aesthetics. Like it's, you know. So and I think people are, like you said, more people are looking to organic. They're kind of going away from just conventional. And like I said, I think more and more people getting sick is forcing people to kind of take charge of their own health, and you know, maybe not so worried about the aesthetics and more worried about real whole foods.
Yeah, and I think that's like the whole key, like of what kind of like what we try to do is we try to eat whole foods. So like basically like we don't you know buy like prepackaged stuff. Like you wouldn't really find like crackers or granola bars or even like hot dog buns or hot dogs or you know things like that. We try and just
Or
get,
like luncheon meat.
No, yeah, we don't usually get luncheon meat. So we just try and get like whole foods like sweet potatoes, like quinoa, rice. You know, we don't eat a whole lot of rice, but yeah, like avocados, fruits, and nuts and seeds. Like
And fruits you buy, do you try and get them like from like the local like fruit stands, or do you buy them from the grocery store that may have the more pesticides on them?
We don't. So what we do with fruits is we choose. We try to buy organic the fruits that have the pesticides, and we just buy like oranges. You don't really need to worry about organic because they've got a big, thick skin around them, and like cantaloupe, you don't really have to worry as much about that, or you know things, watermelon, you know, but like apples, that's something that you would want to buy organic. So we kind of just look at the item, you know, like sweet potatoes, that's something too that they put a lot of pesticides on, so you want to get those organic. So you just kind of look at what you're buying. Usually if you go online even, you can look up like the 10 you know fruits and vegetables that you should definitely buy organic, and that's something you know that you can look at and see that you know which ones are important. Mostly if you're gonna be eating the skin, definitely get organic, like because it's gonna be covered in pesticides.
Do you guys think maybe those pesticides things could be what are causing maybe stomach issues, joint pain, or even cancer?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, well, pesticides, their whole job is to, you know, is to kill off something.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's why genetically modified foods are becoming more and more prominent, is because you have pesticides that are designed to kill, and you know I don't think they always do a great job of differentiating between weeds and the actual plant.
Yeah.
And so they've kind of changed the structure of the plant to be able to resist the weed killer, like the Roundup and whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the issue too, is like our food is kind of changing, like and GMOs, they haven't been around that long, so I think maybe short term it hasn't been totally proven it causes issues, but they haven't been around too long, and that just kind of freaks me out when it comes to genetically changing a food that God made that way. He didn't make any errors when he made that food, and we're getting in there in a lab and changing little things, and who knows what that could do to our bodies.
That's a good point. Hadn't really thought about that.
And then also, and it's still getting sprayed on top of that.
Yeah.
So it's resisting it, but it still has the spray on there. So that goes into our body, and then just we have a substance that's designed to kill stuff, and we put that into our bodies, and I think that's part of what also kind of breaks down people's system, like their digestive system.
Yeah, that's crazy. One other thing I was thinking about too, when it comes to like organic, healthy foods, is you guys drink a lot, or at least you drink a lot of like whole milk that hasn't been like, what they call it, pasteurized.
Unpasteurized.
Unpasteurized.
Yeah.
So, and the cool thing he told us about, I didn't even know this, and it's proven because my dad, he's lactose intolerant, but whole milk, like before it's been pasteurized, people who are lactose intolerant can actually drink it because it's the pasteurizing process or whatever that causes that people to be lactose intolerant, I guess. Is that what it is?
It kills, I guess you'd be able to explain it better, but it kills some of the components in the milk that's needed for your body to process it. So.
Yeah, it's from what I've read, it's milk comes with a lot of different enzymes already embedded in there, And pasteurization, usually even you see in the store it says ultra pasteurization, and that's when they heat it to just hundreds and hundreds of degrees for several seconds or however long it takes. But it's just, that the food isn't supposed to be heated at that high of a temperature. And I think not only does it kill the enzymes and some of those different good things that help us digest it, but it also can damage some of the macronutrients in there.
Yeah.
And so
your body may not be able to utilize it as efficiently.
yeah, and my own digestive system is a living testimony that raw milk is just so much more easily digestible. And as Josiah was saying, his dad attempted this earlier in the past couple of days, where he's had problems with milk, regular milk off and on, and he tried raw milk for the first time the other day and no issues.
And then he drank regular milk today and he had issues.
He had a bunch of problems.
It's
kind of crazy because I think too, to me it just makes a lot of sense. Like if I could, like where I live currently, it's kind of hard for me to get a lot of raw milk because I drink honestly a gallon almost every 3 days, or which is, for me that's quite a bit, a gallon every couple days.
Yeah.
And it's good, but when I drink your whole unpasteurized raw milk, and it is so much better. It tastes way better. And I feel like sometimes this milk does give me problems here and there. Not, if I drink way too much of it in a day. But typically, I'm okay with it. But just from the aspect of it, being totally raw and natural, I could see too, even for bodybuilding purposes, trying to build maximal muscle, having all I feel like your body could utilize it better. Because the big thing I preach in fitness is everything in moderation. So you need a certain amount of carbs, fats, and proteins, and if you take away everything, say you take away all your fats, that could be detrimental, in my opinion, to your joints, because you need that lubrication, that joint, and so you take away your fats, you can start causing yourself joint pain down the road. So I think things in moderation are key.
And fat's not the enemy. It's just finding healthy sources of it.
Yeah, so based on that, kind of another topic, unless you have more you guys wanted to talk about on that.
Go ahead.
It was good. What's your guys' thought maybe being vegan, gluten-free, what's the big diet everyone's doing these days that cuts out all fats? The keto diet. What's your guys' kind of thoughts on those things?
I think there's certain people for health purposes, health reasons, that cutting out gluten if you're celiac, or if it's causing pain, or things like that. I think I think everyone needs to figure out their own body and what kinds of foods are making you not feel good. And even just for me, I've noticed recently certain carb sources like oatmeal and rice, it kind of makes my stomach bloat up. I don't feel very good. There's nothing wrong with those carb sources, nothing at all, but my body doesn't do well with them.
Yeah.
So, and I even get really high quality, I'll buy organic sprouted rice, and my body just doesn't do well with it. So, for me it's okay, I'm gonna cut that out, but for someone else it might be just fine. So I think to an extent, it kind of depends. Keto, personally, at one point I even tried it and I felt so sick doing it, and personally I wouldn't do keto because your body needs you need carbs, you need fats, you need proteins, and I just feel it's not sustainable. And even just some reading I've done on it, it's not very healthy for women, because women they can just lose their menstrual cycle, they can it messes with their hormones. So I say be very careful, especially as a woman doing something like that, because it can really mess you up. And and as well with vegan, maybe there's some people who they need to do it for health purposes, but I'd say personally I don't think it's a great lifestyle choice. I don't think, because you have to be careful too, when you go vegan you might not be getting enough iron, and I just feel those kind of extreme diets can be hard on your body, and you can lose nutrients that you need. And I think I love what you said about everything in moderation. I totally believe in that. No food is evil, no food is bad. Just you need to be moderate, you need to listen to your own body, and when you can find, get whole foods, get quality foods, just and kind of watch your own body, see how you respond to different things, and then feed your body what it loves, what it does well with.
I think that's really good, because the thing that kind of irritates me sometimes when it comes to the nutrition aspect, especially in the fitness industry, is everyone's it's my way or the byway. It's because for me, I can't handle, He'll say gluten. Everyone should be gluten free. Like it's bad for everybody. And I'm like, I don't know about that. You know?
Yeah. I think, and I think finding quality sources, because even with like gluten, like you can find like sprouted breads and things like that where the wheat is more usable and more in its natural form. And like I would say, you know, if you can afford it, you know, because I know some of that stuff is more expensive and not everyone can do it, but if you can afford it, like get the sprouted and like, you know, just try and find the high quality sources of food and then also just listen to your body. That's kind of what I also do.
I would say on the keto diet, like most people aren't doing full out keto.
Okay.
And I'm sure with the studies that you were saying about the dangers, that probably has to do with people who are actually like following it really strict. But to be honest, most people are doing like a modified keto where it's like, you know, they cut out a majority of the carbs, but they're still getting an amount of carbs in. So I'm sure their body is still able to function pretty good. And I think, you know, that can be a healthy diet because like you were saying, fats are really nourishing for the body. So I think it can be a good thing. I think if you go to the extreme where you don't eat any carbs whatsoever, you know, I think your body won't be as efficient on that.
Well, I mean, carbs are the #1 energy source.
Yeah.
That's what gives you energy. So if you totally cut carbs out, in my mind, you're going to have less energy throughout the day, which then could affect you in other ways. You maybe losing weight, but then you're not going to have that energy to go to work or to work out or to do that extra cardio during the day, or I don't know.
Yeah, and that goes to your moderation thing, because you were saying, you know, having no carbs, that's going to have issues, but then you go into the other side where people are, you know, just carbo loading, and just that spikes your blood sugar. So it's like either side, like, you know, it's definitely, I agree with the moderation too, because, you know, and you hear a lot of more people talking about trying to look to nourish your body more so than just like how many calories you're getting or your macros. It's more finding like nutrient dense foods and like trying to nourish yourself instead of.
And when you talk about, just real, if you don't mind, when you say like nourish yourself, do you mean like counting macros to an extent? Because you said something about like not necessarily macros. What do you mean by like nutrient rich foods? Because to me, I think nutrient rich foods like, oh, you need this certain amount of proteins, this amount of fats, this amount of carbs. But what do you mean by like nutrient rich foods, I guess? So when you hear people that do the if it fits your macros, you technically could hit your macros with Twinkies and donuts and like protein powders.
Yeah, like if you added a couple protein shakes, you hit your protein requirement. You could hit the rest of it with seriously garbage.
That's true. Okay, I get you. So you're saying like more like, let's say instead of just taking a protein powder, you're steak or something, or chicken, or stuff like that.
Because that has so many vitamins that goes with it. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, you know, like just touching on the keto thing again. Like some people, you know, for some people it does work. Like they feel good on it, you know. And so like, I think it's not to say that any certain thing is absolutely you should never do it, but I think it's going back to think, kind of listen to your body, because like I tried it for a little bit, and I felt so awful. Like I got like heart palpitations. I was like weak. It was bad, you know. So for me, it was like, this is not a good thing. But I know some people have had success with it. I personally don't feel like it's. I wouldn't feel like it was the healthiest, well-rounded, you know, way to eat. But like for some people, it works and they're thriving off it. So for them, then it can be a good thing. So.
Kind of the same thing too with the vegan topic. It's like, you know, I don't know if you've shared with your viewers your view on veganism.
I haven't. So pretty much I would say, I don't think, like, you know, if you want to be vegan, in my opinion, that's fine. But I would disagree with a lot of the vegan views personally. I personally love my steak. I love my, you know, I don't know the whole thing to veganism, I guess.
No animal products.
Okay.
So not even eggs or cheese or any of that.
Yeah, so I want to totally agree with that, just because a lot of, at least from a little bit of research, I haven't done a lot, but what vegans will struggle with is getting whole like proteins. So a lot of their proteins are going to be more like plant-based proteins, which a lot of plant-based proteins aren't whole proteins, so you don't have all the branched chain amino acids that you need to fully be able to utilize that protein for muscle building. So like for me as a bodybuilder, I want as many whole proteins, or if I can't get whole proteins, I need to make sure whatever proteins I'm getting in my diet match up together so that my body can actually utilize it. Because if you don't have those necessary, BCAAs and amino acids that are in there, then your body, even though you have, let's say I got 100 grams of protein, but it's not a whole protein, my body actually can't really utilize it that well, because you need those whole protein to actually utilize it for muscle building. So for me, vegans are going to struggle with that a lot more in that aspect, because they're going to have to be a lot more precise on what proteins they're getting in their diet. Plus, like a lot of vegan, like tofu or stuff like that is like soy product. And as guys, there's been some research showing that like soy products for guys can increase estrogen levels and be bad on your just overall health. And so I think as a guy, it's really not a great choice either in that aspect. Plus, I feel like a big reason a lot of people are vegan is because they want, they feel like killing animals is wrong, and so they want to protect animals from being killed. There are things in the industry, like the way animals are killed, in some of these industries aren't the best way, and it does need to be improved. Animals shouldn't be just killed in a brutal, terrible manner. It needs to be done right. But in my opinion, God created everything on this earth. It says in Genesis, subdue the earth, have dominion over it, and part of that's including we're able to eat animals. But if you kill an animal, it needs to be done properly, humanely. And if you kill it, you shouldn't just waste it. You should eat it. That's kind of my view on it. But sorry, go ahead.
No, that was good. And something that your other sister said earlier today kind of goes along with that. The Bible also says, rise, kill, and eat. It's not against killing animals. And like you said, we're not about animal brutality.
No.
Especially with your pets, like people who mistreat their pets, it's ridiculous. Like we're not about that, but it's animals. Like you said, we have dominion. They're a great source of nutrition for us, and talking about the proteins, like people who are vegan, they've found creative ways to mix and match foods to get that whole protein.
Yeah.
The thing is though, like for most people, eating beans and rice, to get those protein, like some of those foods, I think for a lot of people, they cause a lot of digestive upset. So I'm not, I think some people, like, it depends on the person, their specific digestive system. If they can digest beans and rice really well, because there is some vegan athletes and lifters who they are very successful. So
that's true.
But that's not for everyone. And I think as a general rule, grains and beans are just a lot harder to digest for most people. But another thing with that, coming kind of the new trend is collagen protein. And people who are vegan, you'll see them still supplementing their diet with some sort of collagen because they can't deny the health benefits of it.
Okay.
So it's
what exactly is collagen?
So collagen is a type of protein found in like the ligaments, just like different tendons, cartilage. It's like those kind of special proteins. It's more gelatinous, and your body can make it on its own. But it's the trend is getting those proteins also in your diet, because us as Americans, we're all about lean proteins. We never eat like a huge variety, like liver. You don't see Americans eat liver, or making bone broth is really trendy right now, and people are starting to make that, but like people never used to, at least for
like that was unheard of for quite a while. Even now I still feel like it's kind of rare.
And it's probably still rare for people to like go out and make it homemade. They buy the collagen protein supplements, but I think people who are vegan, they've seen different kind of health declines from not getting some of those nutrients that they can only get from animal products. And so you're starting to see kind of like a hybrid where they kind of are starting to accept some animal foods.
Interesting. I think that's another good point you talked about, is like our American society is telling us like fats and things like that are killing you to an extent. And I think, like you're saying, like for our chicken, it has like no, like a lot of it's really lean chicken, it's not on the bone, it's boneless. And I think there's been some studies, and there's a lot of cultures where they'll eat they'll cook the chicken on the bone, and then they'll they eat like like liver or like hearts of like animals or things like that, which could have some actually kind of like to the extent what you're saying, some health benefits.
And those are like the prized portions of the chicken are the.
Do you think that kind of plays into some effects? One thing I remember I was talking about a while ago, Jake, was you're saying they did some sort of research and study on these people who lived longer than everybody else, and there's something to their diet. I can't totally remember. Do you remember this at all?
Yeah.
There's something to their diet that they did differently than like we do over here.
Yeah. So through my research, I've come across the Weston Price Foundation, and I've really liked just a lot of stuff they do, and that's what I was sharing with you is, because everyone has an opinion on nutrition.
Yeah.
You can go to 10 different websites and hear 10 different things. So that's always been frustrating for me. I'm sure it's frustrating for everyone else too. You hear different stuff from everyone. You're just like, okay, what do I believe? Something that I really liked about the Weston Price work is they went around and studied different people groups and cultures around the world, and they looked at the people who were healthy, and they looked at what are these people eating, like why are they so healthy, and that just makes so much sense to me because that's just really basic, just straightforward. It makes sense. It's like, what do healthy people eat? What do people who are sick eat? And it's very a stark contrast between what like America, like what we are coming to eat, and like what these other cultures eat. And I know some of that is accessibility, but a lot of it is just like it's like they, for example, with the lean meats in other cultures, they don't prize the lean meats. Like they prize like the organs. That's like whoever gets to eat the liver is like that's the
Party. It's like, yes.
that's the prime rib for them. It's like eating the organs, and the organs. And I think it's going to start trending more and more. People are going to try to get their hands on these because they're so high in vitamins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting and unique for sure. I think one thing I've even noticed is like some of my friends who eat a lot of fast food and things like that, McDonald's and that type of stuff. You'll see their skin like just they start breaking out more acne, and like their skin doesn't look nearly as healthy, and then they start eating better, like not necessarily how you guys eat, which is all that organic stuff, and like really like I wish I could eat that way. It's so much more tasty. Like the way they eat with organic and like raw milk and all that, man, it's the most tasty. That's the thing, people think eating like going on a little rabbit trail here for a second, but like people think eating healthy, you're sacrificing taste. From eating with these guys, eating healthy tastes 100 times better than your fast food or your greasy burger. I went over there and they made me some, like they cut up some potatoes and put some pink Himalayan salt on there, fried it up in like organic butter, and it was the best fries like I'd ever had, with some like just fantastic, like it was just a good meal. Like it just tastes amazing. Drink with a big glass of raw milk. Like, oh my goodness. But all that to say is like I've seen my own friends who eat kind of unhealthy, they eat better, but and their skin clears up a little bit too. So I think it's like kind of like makes sense, and maybe we see more cancer here. I mean, cancer can be caused a lot of things, but like could possibly be because some of the bad eating choices we're making, eating fast food every day. Because there's some people who literally eat like McDonald's every day, and it's like, or not necessarily just McDonald's, but any fast food type place that could be not the best. Let's see. I guess that's the main topics I was wanting to cover. If you had to, off the top of your head, what's your number one health food? Your number one health food, that's your favorite.
I really love sweet potatoes. They're like so satisfying. It's a great carb source, easy to digest, really good for your digestive system. You can make it so many different ways. I love making like sweet potato fries. I literally make it like every night. It's like, and then you don't have to feel bad because you're making like, you're eating a healthy sweet potato. We use our raw butter, like wholesome, good, food, and it's delicious. So I'd say that's probably one of my favorites. I also love almond butter. It's a great, like if you can't handle peanuts well, almond butter is a great nut source. And it's really good, like good for your brain, good for your digestive system, just a great quality nut.
Almond butter, if you want to be smarter.
Yeah. What about you?
Whole milk.
I'm torn because I do drink a lot of raw milk, to get all my nutrients and calories, but I think I might go with butter.
Okay.
Yeah.
That butter.
Just the organic.
Yeah.
Raw butter.
So we pick up our butter from a farm and they make it out of raw milk.
Okay.
And it's just when I'm eating the butter, I feel better. It just seems to really have a lot of just kind of like healing, soothing properties to it.
Cool.
And then like you were saying, it's delicious.
Yes.
I enjoy I enjoy all the stuff I eat, and you can just see in the color of the butter, it is just like dark yellow.
It looks very rich.
Yeah. The first time my mom saw me bring some of this butter by, she was like kind of confused on the color.
Yeah.
And I think she might have even asked me if it's been dyed.
Wow.
And I was just.
It's probably because all the nutrients are there.
Yeah, it's got all the vitamins.
It's really, really high in vitamin A.
Oh wow.
And that's what I've been reading is what helps give it that dark, rich color. And vitamin A is actually, I've been kind of reading more and more that it's really good for bodybuilding as well.
Really? Well, in what aspects?
I need to read more into it. But what I've been reading is just vitamins A and D.
Yeah.
They go really well together, and it's just, I think vitamin D is something that's good for testosterone and.
I'm jumping on vitamin A and D.
And
Interesting.
yeah, so my brother got tested for his vitamin D levels.
Yeah.
And his were a bit low. And so.
And he's been that makes sense. Okay.
But that honestly is probably the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying, you see this butter that's just dark, rich color, and it has vitamins A, and the milk is really high in vitamins A and D. And you gotta wonder if eating those conventional, from the regular grocery store, where you can see it in the color, that's just a big vitamin difference. You gotta wonder if that's also.
I think too, that's why we see people, and this is another whole topic that we probably won't get into, but is people have to supplement with all their daily vitamins. It's because they're not getting enough from their natural food, because it's getting kind of processed so much. It's getting rid of all that natural vitamins and healthy things like that. And then you take all these vitamins, which then you're overdosing on a lot of certain vitamins that you probably don't need to an extent. So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I actually had a doctor, not an actual doctor, but someone that I was meeting with, they told me to take a vitamin A supplement, and I was taking way more than I needed.
Yeah.
And we just decided, okay, I was possibly having some health issues with that, with taking too much vitamin A. And so we just decided, okay, let's just get most of it from my food sources, and I've been eating liver and
that's good.
just a lot of the raw dairy, and you can get a lot of your vitamin A and D just from natural food sources if you're specific with what you eat and get quality products and stuff. So.
That's awesome, yeah. And because that's the thing that concerns me with taking vitamins and stuff, is a lot of times they're overpacked, they have too much. So getting it natural, you guys are doing way better.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you guys are wanting to discuss in this? I have one more question, we'll wrap it up if not.
Just real quick on the vitamins.
Yeah, go for it.
It is very concentrated, but it also doesn't have anything around it. Just how I was telling you, vitamin A and D work really well together.
Yeah.
You take a vitamin supplement and you're only getting just a concentrated, stripped vitamin. That's all it is. So you gotta wonder how well your body even assimilates it, and then you might even how Heidi was saying, you might get a toxic level a lot easier.
Yeah.
But
that's a really good point, because you don't think about it. You think, oh, I take my vitamin, that's good for me. I need a certain amount. But if it's not surrounded by the other ones that work with it, is your body utilizing it? That's a great point.
Yeah.
All right, last question. We'll be done for the night. Thank you guys. If you made it this far, you guys are superheroes. You're real MVPs. So the last question is, for people who may want to eat healthier, how do they go about it? Where are you going to find these healthier foods? How do you find someone who sells raw milk safely or things like that? Do you have any? I mean, we're not giving you advice. We're not saying necessarily do this, but do you have any tips?
I'd say just if you're wanting to find produce and just different grains that are more quality, I'd say go to your closest natural health food store. And we have one, we go to one near us called Natural Grocers, and we find a lot of stuff there. Even like just some regular grocery stores are starting to do organic. Like when I buy sweet potatoes, I just get them from Smith's. Like nothing too, crazy, but like, yeah, just look around your grocery stores, you'll find more like organic sources. Like even we find an organic ground beef from Walmart, So just look around, but a natural health food store, that's a great resource if you're wanting to start trying to eat healthier and, to slowly ease into it. I think just my big thing is whole foods. Like just start getting rid of some of those processed foods in your house. Like, get rid of some of those snack foods that eat chips and, all those things, just to start kind of diminishing that and start, finding healthier like nuts and snacks or things like that. And just, I think, just start to transition over to whole foods, and then you'll be doing a lot better as far as healthy eating. Whole foods is the key, I think.
Just find a couple things, maybe. Like say, for example, you eat a lot of potato chips or something, or you drink a lot of milk, maybe see if you can start getting raw milk, and maybe instead of eating a bunch of potato chips, you make, I don't know, something like eat more sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, there's also like, if you really love your potato chips, like there are healthier potato chip options. Like I found ones that are like, potato chips with coconut oil instead of like the vegetable oils, and they use sea salt, So like if you really need your potato chips, you can find like healthier ways to eat potato chips. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's what I would say.
Nice.
Yeah, and then to find safe dairy products, I think, for us, when we go pick up ours, you see all the cows out there in the fields. They're out there eating grass, and you can just see how healthy they are. They're out there in the sun. So I think that raw milk could be unsafe if the cows weren't healthy. And I think that's why probably the stores have pasteurized so much of it, is because usually, it's mass produced. There's probably, those cows probably aren't the healthiest.
Yeah.
Another thing is shelf life. They probably pasteurize it to make sure it stays stable longer.
Yeah.
Which that's a whole other topic too. But I would say just find, try to find a reputable source. Like when we go to the farm, we know that their family all drinks the milk, and they've got little kids running around, and so we're very confident in the quality of it.
That's good.
So yeah, I would say try to look for some of those things.
Like do your research. Don't just trust what someone else says. Go for yourself. See where those cows are kept. Their family's drinking them themselves. They're doing okay. Just see everything,
And they always have so many customers coming in and out. Like it's a popular, like there's a lot of people that like that dairy farm. You can
That's
tell.
awesome.
Yeah.
And like you were talking about is like the cows, like at normal dairy farms. So where I live here, Tropic, Utah, like I drive out to Cedar City, and on my drive there's a dairy farm there that's the commercial type dairy farm. And you see the cows out there. There's just hundreds of cows in this small little acreage area, standing on mounds of manure. And then they have a little feeding trough and then a milking area, and that's it. It's like those cows probably aren't very healthy.
You wouldn't
and they have bad health. Like they're not having a good, like where those cows are, you said, are like in a pasture.
Yeah, they're on green grass, just grazing. They look very healthy.
Imagine the quality of milk between those two. Like probably way different. The ones standing on manure all day, like in a small closed environment with hundreds of other cows just right there. Probably raw milk from them might make you sick. But those cows a lot better environment, so probably less likely. I think that's good. So I think that's some good tips. Anything else you guys want to talk about? You said what you want to say.
Yeah, I think it's been good. Just kind of like a general overview on just, pretty basic stuff, I think.
Yeah, we didn't get into any like extremely like nitty gritty health aspects, but just kind of a basic overall view of healthy eating. A couple little pointers, hopefully, that maybe help some of you viewers out there. Leave in the comment section below what your thoughts are on the vegan diet, gluten, and view on like even the keto diet, all that. Like everyone has their own kind of opinion on it, and like we said, I think moderation is what I preach. Everything in moderation. If you want that bowl of ice cream, that's fine. Eat your bowl of ice cream if your body can handle it, but don't just eat an exorbitant amount of sugars or things like that. If you do things in moderation, even when it comes to fitness, man, like if everything you do is just fitness, you can become a very imbalanced person, and your goals are going to be too far in one direction, which then can be negative on your life. If you let anything dominate your life too much, except for Christ, then your life is actually headed in a negative direction in my mind. You need balance.
Yeah.
So I think that's some good points.
Yeah, I just wanted to say too, thanks for having us on your YouTube channel, and really enjoyed being here. It's a lot of fun to get to discuss this topic with you.
Yeah, thanks guys for being on it. It's always great. It was great having you guys travel down here, get to hang out with them. A lot of love and respect for both of them. I'm really proud of what they're doing. And these guys are role models in fitness and health and nutrition. So thank you so much, guys.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you guys for watching another episode 2 of Never Back Down, nutrition, facts, and tips. Hopefully it was helpful for you. As always, have a good week. Stay tuned for episode 3. Good job, guys.
Thanks.